Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Fact or Fiction Friday. I'm Brandon.
I'm Shanae.
And we have a good one for you today. As usual, Fact or Fiction Friday, we tell a story, give you some clues throughout, and then you start thinking about what we're talking about, and at the end we reveal it, and you determine if it's fact or fiction.
Yeah, and if the story sounds familiar, try to figure out why does the story sound familiar.
Yep. So just throughout the story, comment down what you think.
Yeah.
And we'll get started.
Let's go ahead.
A young boy collapses at a softball game. He was rushed to the emergency room. The doctors and the administrators there tell the parents that their son needs a heart transplant. They explain to them how much it's going to cost, and the parents' jaws drop. I'm sure it was just crazy.
Yeah.
Just going to the hospital, you can break a nail and they will charge you a crazy amount of money.
It's always expensive.
Mm-hmm. Which, I didn't go to the hospital because of this reason right here. It probably would have cost me back a couple stacks.
What happened to you?
Well, that's another story for another day.
Okay.
Yeah. They tell the dad they already checked his insurance and are aware that it is not covered under his plan. The mom doesn't have insurance through her job. They tell them as cash patients that they can't do anything without a down payment. The parents are adamant that their insurance will help.
Mm-hmm. He goes to his job and he is told that his policy recently changed, and they described it as from a PPO to a HMO plan. And since work has been slow and he wasn't getting full-time hours, he only qualified for a very small amount of money compared to what they need. He was unaware that his policy changed, and this upsets him very much, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents get to work trying to raise money, and they try to raise as much as they can. They start selling things like their truck and their wedding rings, because it's a significant amount of money that they need for their son. The church also raises money for him, and friends donate. He also tries to get more insurance, but it got denied. The lady there, where he was trying to sign up for the insurance, tells him that he'd be better off getting welfare. Welfare, if you don't know, is help from the government for insurance for low-income families. Medicaid is what it's called, or government insurance. They do pay for this type of procedure for transplants. So he went to go try to get that, which until standing in a very long line, he got denied for that as well.
Figures.
He's told he doesn't qualify. Although he doesn't have any money, he didn't qualify for that either.
Yeah, so although they worked hard to raise the money, they were still extremely short. The administrators tell them that they would have to discharge their son so he can go home and die. Like, how do you tell somebody that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I guess you got to train doctors to tell people that. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
So anyway, the mom is extremely upset and tell her husband to do something. So he did something. He caught the bus to the hospital and found the doctor. He talked to him and pulled a gun and demanded that his son gets the surgery. The doctor, frightened, agrees with him, but is trying to talk him out of whatever his plan is. They walk through the hospital until they reach the emergency room, and he demands his new hostages to sit on their hands while he chains the exit doors closed. He sees that some of the hostages need immediate attention and demands the doctor to give free health care to them, including a gunshot victim who came via ambulance.
So, of course, soon the police arrive, and he gives his demands. And his demand to put his son on the transplant list. After a while, most of the hostages start to agree with him, with his cause, and they sympathize with him for his situation. So one hostage doesn't agree with him and tries to overpower him.
It's always one. It's always one.
With the help from other hostages, the dad gets him in cuffs, and he does start to let some of them go. And when The freed hostages get outside and speak to the media. They speak in support of him. The hospital administrator, who was never really kind to the parents, sees all this playing out and goes ahead and adds the son to the list after speaking with the mom.
After speaking to his wife and son on the phone, a sniper who entered through an air shaft shoots him in the shoulder. He overpowers the sniper and uses him as a human shield, and he goes outside to speak with the officers. He releases the sniper in exchange for going back in the hospital with his son. While back in the hospital, he reveals his plan to sacrifice his own life so that his son can have his heart. He reveals he has only one bullet, and it was always for himself and never for any of the hostages. Everyone around him tells him this is not the way to go. He has his mind made up that he was going to do it. He already determined that he was a match, and the doctor was right here to do the surgery.
So he writes a will and has 2 hostages sign it as a witness. He states in it that he is leaving his heart to his son. He goes in to talk to his very sick son and give him some life lessons. He tells him things like always listen to your mother, don't get caught up in bad things, and that he will always be with him. While he was ready to pull the trigger, he hears his wife on a walkie-talkie next to him saying that they have a heart for their son. And then together they watch the surgery, and then he is taken off to jail.
These events sparked a nationwide discussion of the problems with the healthcare system in America. So, fast forward a little bit, he goes to trial and is acquitted of attempted murder and armed criminal action. He is convicted of kidnapping and false imprisonment and gets a sentence of less than 2 years. His son is now healthy.
All right, guys. So, like always, it was a quick story there. So, what do you think? Do you think this story is true or false? Or do you think it is fact or fiction? Go ahead and place your guess. We would love for you to comment what you think.
Yep.
All right. We put some clues on the screen. This story is false. I know we probably got some of you with this one. This story is actually another movie, and it's called John Q. It was released back in 2002, and it stars Denzel Washington as the dad and Kimberly Elise as the mom. It was directed by Nick Cassavetes. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And it was written by James Kearns. The thing about this movie is, even when it came out, a lot of people thought it was a true story. It was written so well, and it's very similar to true life, that it could have very well been a real story. But that's why this movie was great for our series, and that's why we picked it. Didn't you think it was based on a true story?
Don't bust me out like that. I said, is it a based on a true story?
Because it seems like this could really be something that happened. And this movie did actually spark, a discussion about the healthcare system in America, because everything that was going on was true. Like how his insurance got changed without his knowledge. That happens to people all the time. About how if his son had Medicaid, then he wouldn't have have to worry. It would have been covered.
Then he tried to get the Medicaid and say, "Oh no, you make too much money."
Yeah.
Well, clearly I don't. If I had
a job,
money.
So he had insurance, and he had through his job, which he had, but it just wasn't gonna wasn't enough. It wasn't even a drop in the bucket to what he needed for the surgery. So, this story, like I said, I think I probably got some of you guys with this one. So.
Yep. The thing that got me when I was thinking about it was, oh, it's America. Yeah, I mean, it could be real, for
Yeah.
true, because the healthcare system is expensive.
It's very, in my research, I realized that the government insurance, which for mostly younger people is Medicaid, and then for the older, like retired people, is Medicare, they pay for thousands of transplant surgeries in full. And so if you have, are hardworking American with a job that you get insurance through, it's not covered.
Yep.
And so like I said, it sparked the discussion because some things just doesn't quite seem right.
Yep. So.
All right.
Yep. So So recently, I was, doing something for another video, and I almost cut my finger off. And this story hit kind of close to home because it probably been cheaper for them to cut it off than for them to just go ahead and stitch it, sew it back together if I'd have went to a certain hospital. So I was afraid to, but it all worked out, I hope. So, a few shots later, some stitches later, my finger's still attached. So,
yay! Yeah. He didn't lose his finger. I'm so happy.
Yeah, well, that's the end of this one. Thanks for coming by. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.